I didn't die from eating it in that quiet moment with my papa. If you have heart problems, this is not for you. Hi friends, I'm just finishing my little cup of tea here, and I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to sit down and film my Q&A with you all. There has been lots of new subscribers recently, so I thought it would be perfect to do a little Q&A, kind of a get to know me and any questions you might have. I put the call out a few weeks ago over on YouTube, well, here on YouTube, but over on Instagram. And so I have some of them written down here, and we'll just get into it. So I think first I'll just, because if anyone's new, you might ask why Celtic Lassie. My name is actually Colette, for those that don't know. And I chose Celtic Lassie because I grew up in a Gaelic cultural community, and I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandfather's first language was Gaelic. And he was a singer, storyteller, and everything in Gaelic. And so I grew up in that, and I lived in Scotland for a period of years and worked in Gaelic media and did all that. And so I'm very much immersed in my Gaelic culture. So when I came to choose like my channel name, I just picked Celtic Lassie. So that's it. But outside that, my name is Colette. So what is some of your favorite things to do in Nova Scotia in the spring and summer? And I have them listed. I have the questions listed here, but I put some notes down too, just because I have lots of thoughts. Locally to me, I live in the Annapolis Valley of Nova Scotia. I love going to museums and historic sites and things like that. And so there's a museum that's not far from me, Prescott House Museum, and that one's a really good one to check out. It's a Georgian manor house, but it's the house of Charles Prescott, who was the father of the apple industry in the province, and it's kind of what kickstarted the apple industry, was his early works in horticulturalism. Is that the right term? Anyway, it's a really cool house to walk through. And other than that, there's the Valley Ghost Walks that are really, I like doing here in the Valley. I actually was a ghost one year for them. And so he has different spots, the guy that does it, Valley Ghost Walks. You can find them on Facebook. And so each week or every other week, he has another spot that week, so different communities, and so there's different shows in each community because it's to do with the different characters around that area. So yeah, I used to do the one that was in Halls Harbor. I was one of the ghosts on there for one season, so it was a lot of fun. But I like doing ghost walks. There's one in Halifax as well that Rob and I did, and it was, I really enjoyed it. You kind of walk through, like it starts around the clock tower, and then you go through like all those different buildings, and you learn a lot of the history, and that's what I like. In Halifax as well, I also like going to, obviously, the Citadel. I've never been on the tall ship Silva, but it's my bucket list thing to do. But I have been on the Harbor Hopper a couple of times, and it's actually a lot of fun because you learn a lot. Well, it depends on what your tour guide is. The first time I've done it, it was really good. I learned so much. The second time, it wasn't as good. It was just, I guess it depends on what tour guide you have and what one, but I did enjoy it, definitely the first time. I learned so much about the history of Halifax and the area that I had never known. So I do enjoy that. There's Privateer Days in Liverpool. I think it's in June, and I've been there for at least one of the days for a couple of times. Lots of different events happening. So I would check that out if you're looking for something to do. That's around June. Other museums, the Fortress of Louisbourg is a lot of fun in Cape Breton. But the other museum I really like in Cape Breton, and I used to work there years ago, is the Highland Village Museum, Ballin and and it tells about the 200 sort of year history of the Gaels of Nova Scotia, from the time they lived in Scotland to what led to their immigration over here to Nova Scotia, and then how the culture culture developed and where it remains today. And so it's a living history museum. So you walk back in time. And so it's first person animation. So everybody's playing the part in the time period that they're in. So each building has a different time period telling the history. And so you're learning the history as if you were standing there in that moment in time, in like, I don't know, 1790 in the Black House of Scotland, and 1820 in the first log cabin that they would have built, and the first frame house, and when more industrialism started coming to the island and things like that. So it's really cool. It's really interesting, and all of the buildings except for the first two are reconstructions, which is the Taidu, which was the Black House, and the log cabin. They're reconstructions on site, but all of like the other prominent buildings on the site are all period to the period that they're a part of. So they pulled them from all different parts of Cape Breton. So I would definitely check out that. The Cabot Trail, which is just amazing to go, not just in the summer, but if you go in the fall, when the leaves are like all turn color, it's absolutely gorgeous. It takes an entire day to do it, but it's something I would put on my bucket list. Lunenburg Folk Harbor Folk Festival, that one's really good to check out. Lots of music. And I'm just looking to see if I don't miss any of the other ones. Ushkaban Falls. I love going to waterfalls. It's one of my favorite things. But Ushkaban Falls, there's a few of falls you can go to on the Cabot Trail. And some of them are easier to get to than others. And then there's Ushkaban Falls, which is in Big Bedeck, I believe it is. It's outside Bedeck anyway, Big Bedeck, I believe. And it's a provincial park. And you can hike and walk out through there. And it's kind of like a 2-tier fall. And that's really, really pretty. So that's something to check out. Next question. What is your dream vacation? So I have a few bucket list places that I'd like to see, and then Rob and I would also like to see. I guess the top of the list, but probably wouldn't be one that I'd be going anytime soon, is I'd love to go to Egypt. I love like ancient Egyptology, like the history and all that. So I'd love to go to the museum in Cairo and go see the pyramids and all that. So that's on my bucket list. And I'd love to go to Ireland. My grandmother's side of the family was from Ireland. And so I'd really like to go there. I lived in Scotland, but I never went over to Ireland for whatever reason when I was there. So I would really like to go to Ireland. New Zealand is another place. Greece is another place that Rob and I both would like to go to. And some point in time, we'd also like to go to New Orleans. So that's on both of our bucket lists. Favorite book? I was thinking about this when I was looking at the questions earlier. I don't know if I have a favorite book. There's lots of books I liked. I don't know if I really have a favorite one at the moment, except for one that I really like that came out in August last year. And I've talked about it, I think, a couple of times on this channel, is When the World Fell Silent by Donna Jones Allward. And it tracks two people's lives leading right up to the Halifax explosion and then the aftermath afterwards. So what their life was like. They had two different paths. They were both kind of traveling, and it kind of just shows two different people's journeys through that horrific period in time in Halifax. And it's so good. And I actually saw a post by Donna this morning, I think it was, where she said her book, it's been on a bestsellers list since it's released. It's in its 6th printing now because it's been that many sold. It's in the 6th printing just for Canada alone. So anyway, so I would check out that book. It's one of my favorites right now. And she has another one coming out, and it's around the Titanic. So the Titanic is the event in it. So anyway, so I would check out that one, When the World Fell Silent. Favorite recipe, and I was thinking about this one, I think it's my grandmother's fish chowder, because it's one of my favorite things to eat, although it doesn't like me very much. I'm lactose intolerant, but I did make a fish chowder recently, and I did it with lactose milk for the first time. and it worked. I didn't die from eating it. So I think my grandmother's fish chowder is my favorite. It's we say fish chowder, but it's more seafood chowder. But she doesn't put salmon in it because salmon overpowers, and she doesn't put shrimp in it either. But it would be like haddock and clams and scallops and lobster. That's what she would put in her fish chowder. And so it's more of a seafood chowder. And she'd do it with like a blend cream or whole milk. Has mashed potatoes, not cubed potatoes. And so it helps thicken it up without having to thicken anything. And butter and salt and pepper and all that. It's absolutely delicious. And I think that's my favorite recipe. So going on that, I'll go down to another question here that asks me what my favorite Mexican or other cultural food is. When it comes to Mexican, I think fish tacos. Fish tacos are probably one of my favorite things. It's because even when I go out to a restaurant, it is the kind of like benchmark. It's like if they have fish tacos in the restaurant, and I've never been to that restaurant before, I'll order it just to see how their fish tacos are. There's a taco place near me in Kentville, and it's taco centric, and they don't say they're a Mexican restaurant, but they're a taco place, and it's all fresh food used from local sources, and I get their fish tacos there, and it's just absolutely delicious. So that would probably be my favorite Mexican. The other one is I make a lot of fajitas. Fajitas is one I love. I do chicken and mushroom mostly fajitas, but I really, really enjoy them too. In terms of other cultural food, Madoc, which is Gaelic, which translates to pudding. And you would have had Madoc and Gow, which is white pudding, and Madoc and Du, which is black pudding. And it's not pudding as in a dessert. It's like it looks like a sausage, really. So it's in a casing. And what it is, you're gonna look at it and go, what is your favorite? I have so much fond memory. It's like, it tastes so good. It's basically a combination of oats, onions, suet, salt, and pepper. That's all that's in it. And so you stuff it into the casings. And today it's harder to get real casings, which would have been like, I'm not going to go into it. It'd be a piece of the animal, the casing, and it's harder to get that. So there is artificial casings, and I need to figure out where I can get some of them so I can make some, because I do have my grandmother's recipe, but it's really, really good. And so what you do is you make it and then you boil it to cook everything together, so it becomes that mushiness together in the casings, and then you slice it in like little like patties, like as if it was like sausage patties, and then you just fry it in the pan. Don't put any like butter or anything in it because it already has suet in it. You don't need to do anything like that. And you just fry it and they eat it warm, and it's really, really good. If you have heart problems, this is not for you. Not for you at all. But it is like, I really love it, and it was something we used to have. It's common to make in the fall of the year a lot, because that would be usually when you'd be butchering, because you need the suet in the animal casings. So we would have it a lot in at Christmas time. So usually breakfast on Christmas morning a lot would be Madigan, and it was so good, and I really like it. So that's a cultural thing. Another one that I like is kind of, besides the fish chowder, would be a cultural thing to, like, I guess the Maritimes, would be salt cod and potatoes. I remember going to salt cod dinners, in community dinners and things, and so you'd have the salt cod, and then you'd have potatoes boiled, and then you'd usually have like the pork scrunchions. I never usually would just do that. I just wanted the salt cod and the potatoes and the chow, and the curds, so like a cottage cheese. And I loved it, and it's one of my favorite meals. It'd be like your last meal. I'd probably ask for that as my last meal, because it's such a comfort meal to me. So Okay, so I think that's it. And then moving on, this one's actually a pretty heavy question, asking, how do you deal with bouts of grief? I don't. I don't, honestly. I struggle. I struggle. It's hard to, I've lost people in my life, and I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'll probably start crying. Because that's why I said, how do you deal with grief? I just try to get through it because I'm not really, I don't really deal with it very well. So yeah, anyway, sorry, I can't give you any advice because it's not, it's not, I don't have any advice that I can give because I'm still working myself through it. Somebody asked, how did Rob and I meet? Rob's my husband. Honestly, we met through work. We worked for the same company, but not the same office. But we would see one another when we would like work on sports productions or any big events and that. We would, because the crew would all come in from all of the different locations. And so I think I met him in person when I was working on I was the producer on a live soccer soccer broadcast. And so he was doing one of the cameras, and that's how I met him then. We were friends for years, just really good friends, and then just kind of realized, oh, what are we doing? You know, so that's how I met him, was from work. And yeah, we had a really, really strong friendship right from the beginning. And the last question I think I have here is my favorite childhood memory. This is probably gonna like think of like people are going, well, that's not a huge memory because you're thinking, oh, when I went here, I went there. But it's a memory I remember. I was just a little girl. Like, I don't even know how old I was, like maybe 3 or 4. Like, I don't even know if I was in school yet. But it was really early in the morning. I had got up with my papa, and grandma was still asleep in bed. So this papa used to wake up between 5 and 5:30 in the morning every day. And so it was him and I early in the morning, and it was just kind of like just getting light out. And he was making breakfast, and I was sitting at the end of the table looking out the window. And there's another thing I knew it was young, because it was the old windows, because we had little glass panes in our big window, and then they changed it out for one big pane of glass. But I was looking out the window out at the first snow of that year, and just watching the snow fall like gently onto the ground as it was slowly getting light out, and Papa pouring a cup of tea, and he put a hard-boiled egg in front of me for breakfast with some butter and salt and pepper. And just in that quiet moment with my Papa in that early morning, having breakfast and looking out the window at the first snow, yeah, that was one of my favorite childhood memories, because I remember it to this day. It's making me teary just thinking about it, because I miss him. But sorry. Anyway, so those are all the questions I have. If you have any other questions for me, you can put them down below, and I can answer them probably in an upcoming video for you as well. Or and if you don't want me to answer them in the video itself and you just want me to answer in the comment, I can do that as well. So you can just let me know. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed these few little bits of questions. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and be well, and I'll see you in the next video.